Welcome back, everyone. Conklin and Company continues now with a conversation about health care and other issues of the day with U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown, who was in town this past week. Our Sean Haggerty talked with him.
You were in town this week talking about the Affordable Care Act, and you were talking about people that still don't have the word. What do you think can be done to make sure people get the word that this is the law?
Well, I think now that 125,000 people as of the middle of the week, this past week, have health insurance now that did not have it 3 months ago. I think they talk to their friends and they hear the stories and they see broadcasts like this. And I think more and more people are going to sign up. The deadline's March 31st. Then they'll have to wait several months till the next open enrollment period. It will change lives. 100,000 young people in their early 20s, late teens, early 20s are on their parents' health plan that weren't. 1 million Ohio seniors have gotten free physicals and saved $900 on the average on their prescription drugs. A whole lot of families have insurance now because we changed the law, and an insurance company can't turn you down because you have an asthmatic or a diabetic son or daughter.
Do you think the fine will in fact happen if people don't have insurance, even though the word may not be getting out to everybody?
The fine is small, and I think that's an incentive for people to get insurance, because people, as the people who have worked on this have said in Toledo, when Jan talked about today, people are getting insurance at lower cost than they expected, in many cases lower cost than the policy they had, which wasn't as complete a policy. I mean, when you get sick, you want your insurance to be there. This is insurance that will be there because it has high standards. You can't just write some fly-by-night policy and then the insurance company doesn't pay off when it's time.
Another hot issue right now that Washington's going to be facing is what's going on in the Ukraine. Do you think, with all the volatility that's happening right now, does it make sense for the United States to send any sort of forces into there?
No, we made a terrible mistake a decade ago as a country in Iraq. I mean, people like Marcy Kaptur and I and others opposed it, but nonetheless it happened. We're not going to send ground troops to Ukraine. That's just not in question. I'd say it's a very difficult situation. Obviously, Putin acted illegally, most of us think. We are going to use sanctions against those Russians who have kind of benefited from this international financial system. And the president's hanging tough. I talk to Congressman Kaptur about it pretty often. She has, her ethnic roots are in that part of the world, and she's got a lot of knowledge about it. And it's important that we stand strong here, but we're not going to war.
Is there anything that you think we should be doing that we're not doing?
Well, I think we're exploring how to make the sanctions tighter and work more effectively once we start them. I look at what we've done with Iran sanctions. Not going to war with Iran, but tightening sanctions have made a difference to get them to the negotiating table and are starting to matter. So we know how to do it. The administration and particularly the financial system, those are the ones you aim at. It was energy in Iran. It's a little different in Ukraine, but there are things that the State Department can figure out, and I think they're doing them.
Is there any worry that anything we do in Ukraine could strain relations, whatever the relations are with Russia at this point?
Well, I think when someone acts is unreasonably, and that's putting it kindly, as Putin has, the world stands up, and you don't worry about hurting his feelings. Our European allies are standing with us. That's something that didn't happen in Iraq. And I think one of the most important things this president's done is to make sure that we have our allies on our side, because we don't want to be the world's police officer. We don't want to be the one to go in every time and not have other supports. If we go in, and I don't mean go in for military action, but if we go in on sanctions and other things and bring the rest bring Europe with us, it really, really matters.
Senator Sherrod Brown with our Sean Haggerty this past week. We also talked health care in Washington, our Washington Bureau, with 5th District Congressman Bob Latta, who continues to oppose health care reform, the Affordable Care Act, and he he repeated those sentiments with our Washington Bureau.
People, again, are finding out many things, that the premiums are going up. They're going to have much higher deductibles. They're not going to get to keep their doctors. They're not going to, all these things that the president promised the American people that weren't going to happen have all happened.
Congressman Bob Latta. When we come back in just a minute, a tie like kissing your sister? Not in this case. We're going to talk with the athletic director from Northview High School about that historic hockey game in Columbus last weekend. A 1-1 tie, 7 overtimes, and co-champions of the state of Ohio. Right after this.